Welcome to a brand new episode of the Oracles. This is episode 78. My name is Manelisi, and with me is the brilliant, the superstar Oracle, Zee Mazibu. We've been away for, I think this is the shortest time that we've been away since our first episode this year. Only 2 weeks, but we are here anyway. Thank you so much for I almost said thank you so much for tuning in. But thank you so much for for watching this. If you haven't subscribed
Thank
as
you.
yet, please make sure to subscribe. Please make sure to share, to comment, to do everything else in between. But yeah, anyway, Z, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very, very good. It's always a good time to see you. When I do see you, it's always a brilliant time to have you here. But yeah, we've got just a couple of things to talk about this week. And
Mhm.
actually, I think I don't know if you actually saw it because the last time the previous episode was too long. I think about 2 hours.
It was,
Yeah,
it was
so
long.
yeah.
I felt bad myself. I was like, damn, I know I can talk, but come on, man, not like that.
Yeah,
That was a bit
yeah.
too much.
Yeah, so we had to split that into two parts,
Mhm.
but hopefully we won't have to do that with this week's episode. So we had to cut it very, very short,
We we
and
are
try
learning
to
and unlearning.
yeah, learning and unlearning. But yeah, so there's a couple of things that we're going to be talking about. The one is the artist royalties being stolen. The other one is Kwesta's rollout for his possibly for a new album. I don't know what's going on there. And also we're going to be looking at the charts, Spotify versus Apple Music. But before we get into that, Z, what have you been listening to recently, in the past week?
There's a song, guys, that I'm obsessed with. I really wanted to ask you this, and I was using those words. Now I wanted to use those words. Like,
Yeah,
what new song are you currently obsessed with? Like,
yeah,
with that you're just giving endless spins. Also, in this house, we listen to a lot of gospel, guys.
yeah,
Domin Kokstad. I don't know when that song, I didn't even check when it dropped, but I just heard it and it's been playing for the past couple of days. Actually, let me check when it dropped. So there's a song that Domin Kokstad has been listening to called Eketsemani
yeah,
forward slash Bayavuma. What a perfect song, guys. I am obsessed.
yeah. And
I
actually,
am
yeah,
literally, it's my favorite song right now. I'm just trying to see when it was released because I don't even know. Oh, okay, it was released on Thursday. Okay, that's
is it?
fine.
I mean, you probably, if you've been listening to it since Thursday, since it came out, you're probably responsible for
So
half of the spins.
when I found it on Friday, it wasn't that long because I got it
Yeah,
on Friday. You know what?
yeah.
I'll take it. I will take it. Literally, I would listen to it on my way to the gym. I listen to it on my way from the gym. I listen to it at the gym. So I will take it. It's such a
Yeah.
great song, man. Like it's beautiful. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. I mean, with Domin Kokstad, I think we would expect that because he's good. And he's gotten to where he is because he's a worshiper and he's very, very good. So
Mhm.
I'll check that out. I'll check that out
Yeah.
yeah, when I do have the time. So I've been listening to, because I've been going back to some old music. I was listening to Nate Dogg's,
Hmm.
yeah, to Nate Dogg's, I Got Love. Yeah, I Got Love. I think it's from his debut album. Um, because it just reminded me of back when I was in
Hmm.
high school, right? Reminded me back when I was in high school. I used to love it, and it's one of those songs which wasn't like a global hit, I guess, like everywhere in the streets. But if you love hip hop and you were following hip hop at the time,
Hmm.
back in the early 2000s and whatnot, you probably remember that one. And also, just today, actually, before that, while I was getting ready. I came across, I don't know if you remember the song, but it was a group by Liberty City called Matter in Miami.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I
You
don't.
don't.
I'd be lying.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
lying.
Oh, I think only a few people. Maybe if you heard it, no, yeah, maybe if you heard it,
Maybe. Yeah.
yeah, you might remember it. And crazy enough, because I was just looking it up, like the video, I think it was shot or released somewhere in the late 90s or early 2000s. But I actually found
Mm.
out that the actual song was released in 1990. So it's also older than me. It's older than us. But yeah,
Let's get it.
it's one of those gems that I just came across randomly, and it's what I've been listening to today. But yeah, that is what we've been listening to in the past week. Now, I want us to get into because there's a very, very important conversation that we need to have. Something that we need to
Mhm.
look into, which is the issue of royalties being stolen from artists or artists not getting their royalties. And this is a tale. This probably is as old as music royalties have existed or people have been getting paid
Yeah.
for their music. Now, the one story that you and I have talked about, I think, countless times, or rather made an example of, is Leah Zahara with TS Records, her not getting her
Yeah.
money or full royalties. So the reason why this came up the reason why this came up for me is because Angie Stone passed away earlier this month. I think it was a couple of
Yes.
weeks ago, in a car accident. So last week, I came across an article where that said that Tyler Perry is helping her estate or her family to follow up on Universal Music owing her royalties. And the reason why he's taking it up is because right before she passed away, she actually released a video earlier this month. I think it was on the 3rd of March, which was like a week or two before she passed away in an accident. Now, conspiracy theorists would probably say there's something fishy about her having the accident while
Mhm.
she's putting Universal Music Group on blast. So, according to her, there are royalties, obviously, that haven't been paid to her. Because actually, the reason why she recently found this out is because she was sick for quite a bit. I think she had an infection in her blood. I think shortly after going to a doctor or something, and she realized, Gutsi, um, because she was 63 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But she was still performing, she was still going around, and she actually passed away coming from a gig with some of her crew members, weirdly enough. So she realized because everything was just not going well during that period, like the short period where she was unwell and
Yeah.
whatnot. And she realized, Wutsi, she's taking care of the kids, she's taking care of some of her family. She has a team that is looking after her, a professional team. And she realized, Wutsi, if she's not performing, then she's not really making any money. There's not a lot of money coming through. So
Yeah.
she embarked on a journey where she was looking into some of the royalties, with what's going on. And basically, not necessarily, no, she wasn't actually looking into royalties about what's going on, but she was trying to put everything in order in case anything happens to her. She passes away now in anytime soon. So everyone that is supposed to get paid or supposed to receive some money is everything is sorted basically. And she found out, you see, Universal Music has been withholding some royalties from her. Or rather, not necessarily withholding, but they were funneling money that was supposed to come to her through royalties. They were going to other people and not her. And she found out, Gutsi, some of the mechanical rights were not properly registered. So, and we know this, that if you know about Angie Stone, you know that she was a writer. She's been in the music industry for like 40
Mhm.
years. And she was a writer, she was a composer, everything, a lot of things in the background. So she learned that some of the mechanical rights were not properly registered. So the people that she trusted to take care of the admin and whatnot, they didn't do it properly. So they did register someone, but they did not register her name. So, and according to her, had everything been done properly, she could have retired like 20 years ago, already. Like right now, she wouldn't have to work, she
Mm.
wouldn't have to be performing because of all the money that she would have made during her entire career. And that is crazy because you can just imagine.
That is painful.
Yeah, like a lot, a lot. So you can just imagine someone looking at 63-year-old saying, and now she was performing not because she really loved the music or she really loved to do it, but she was performing because she had to take care of herself and she has family or had family that she was supposed to take care of. Tyler Perry decided, you know what, I'm going to continue the fight. He'll see what he's able to do and to assist the family in getting what was due to her and all of that.
Mm.
And that made me wonder or made me think that not this actually could be a very good conversation to have. Because we know also in South Africa, a lot of artists have been crying. They have been talking about this thing of royalties not being paid to them. You know, basically all that admin stuff, money not coming to them, the how it's supposed to come to them. And in my research and in reading, like, and this was like light reading, right? I found out that I think about 1.5 billion rands is owed to artists in South Africa alone. Or rather, music that is paid in South Africa. So there's people at SAMRO and other agencies that are supposed to be giving out the royalties. The royalties are not getting to these people. Imagine that 1.57 billion. That is a lot of money.
Mm. A lot of money.
Like it's crazy, crazy money. And one of the arts and this was kind of funny, but also not funny at the same time, right? Hlengiwe Mhlaba. Because I remember one of one of the things that one of the stories that I came across a couple of years ago is that because she was signed to Sipho Makhabane, Sipho Makhabane, you should
Yeah.
know him, the big fish.
Yeah.
Um, so and in reading a story, I learned that I think she was performing at a church service or something. She was singing at a church service, which is where she was discovered. And Sipho Makhabane gave her like 500 rands, and this was in 2004. Gave her 500 rands to get on a bus to Joburg, and but Makhabane was working on his debut album. And in working on this debut album, she invited Hlengiwe Mhlaba to do some vocals on there. And then in 2005, that's when she got her breakthrough. Now, the problem, and this is the major problem, is that they never actually had a contract. She was signed to Sipho Makhabane's record label, but they never actually had a contract on paper. All they had was a verbal agreement to say, would say, we're going to be working together. Like it's crazy. It's really, really
Ah,
crazy. Yeah. And
that is crazy business. Oh,
what's that?
now I'm saying that is crazy because now you're thinking, did this person not think they're going to blow up? That maybe these things work.
Yeah, but because the thing is, it's not even about whether you think the person is going to blow up or not. Because actually, Sipho Makhabane probably knew that she was going to blow up, that she was going to be big, because her voice is very distinct and her worship like is crazy, crazy. Which is why he was able to trust her enough to say, here's money, get on a bus, come to Joburg, let's work. And then also at the same time use the studios, whatever studios he was using, to help her create her album. Now she never actually intended to create an album initially. I think she discovered this while she was up there in Joburg and doing all these things. So they just had this verbal agreement to say, would say they're going to be working together, and never actually had anything on paper. So in 2018, all these albums, I think she released like 12 albums during that period, which is like 15, 14 years. Yeah, 15,
Mhm.
Yeah, no, 13 years together, sorry. In the 13 years between 2005 and 2018,
Mm.
I think she released like 12 albums. Now, the story that I initially came across was when Hlengiwe Mhlaba, and I think you know this story as well. Which I think she was at a mall, and a fan came up to her asking for a picture and whatnot, and told her Wutsi she loves the latest album, a new album. And she was surprised, Wutsi, what do you mean? Like a new album? I haven't released an album in however long. And she went into Musica. Going to Musica, she was searching and she saw this album cover with her face on it. And it was a compilation of some of her older music. And she didn't know anything about
Mhm.
that. And it turns out, would say her record label or either record label or Sipho Makhabane, I don't know who exactly. And this is alleged, by the way. This is just something I've read. It's not something that I'm coming up with myself or speculating.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are just things that I read. Um, Apparently, they created that album, that compilation album, and then they released it without her knowledge, which means, Gutsy, that also should be part of or part of the money made from that should be money that should have come to her. Now, in 2018, it was discovered that she was actually owed 16 million rands, and this is like 2018. Like during that period, from them first meeting up until then, when they did the calculations, they found out Gucci all she received was 4.5 million rands, and that was just for performances. It wasn't for
That is
like
wild.
yeah, it wasn't for royalties, it wasn't for CD sales, none of that. Like the only amount that she received for royalties was like 250,000 rands, if I'm not mistaken, during that period. So it's like it's crazy. And the 16 million rands was just for royalties and CD sales. Like there were no digital sales. There were yeah, CD sales and royalties. So there were no digital sales. There were no what are these ringtones that call a tune ID whatever.
Oh,
That
yes,
was
yes. Like the
yeah.
college vibes.
Yeah, that wasn't included in the 16 million rand that was due to her. And so basically half of that money, 8.5 million was supposed to be for yeah, 8.5 was supposed to be for sales, CD sales, and then 8.3 million, I think, was for what was on royalties. And it's crazy.
Guys, now my question is, right? So I know you might not be necessarily like that quite versed in the music industry and everything, right?
Yeah.
But when you are creating this music, do you not think, oh, would okay, I'm creating this music and it's being played somewhere where I'm not physically there, right? So
Yeah.
shouldn't I be getting more money from the sales of this music and
Yeah.
not just getting money from performances? Because if you say the most, like the chunk of the money came from performances, it's giving now, what do you think what was happening with like the music that you were making? How was it getting played on radio? How was it getting played wherever, like what's happening? Do you not think about that? It's kind of tricky.
Yeah, like the thing about Nomcebo Zikode was probably an education thing around the music industry. Like she, up until she got her lawyer to look into all these things, she really didn't
Mm.
know much about how the music industry works. All that she knew was that she got into studio, recorded, an album was released, and then with the release of an album, obviously the bookings that they pick up. And with the bookings, and because you can imagine that in a
Mm.
span of like 10 to 13 years, having made like 4.5 million rands, it's not a lot really. But when you factor in like the 4.5 million rands, and then you factor in all the free stuff that you get, all the endorsements, or and the money that is coming in from the sides, I feel like, and if you're not really knowledgeable about how the music industry works, then you never really think about these things. You never really think about what about royalties when my music is being played on radio. What about yeah, about the royalties, about the mechanic. She doesn't even know about mechanical rights. I don't imagine. So it's a lot,
Mm.
and especially when the money is a lot, or rather a lot for how you understand money to be. Yeah, so I think for her that might have been a factor as well.
Now, when you put it like that, it makes sense. Oh, but that's wild. And also, I feel like I understand you gave someone an opportunity, right? But for you
Hmm.
to play her like that, that's a lot of
Like,
money.
yeah, it's diabolical.
You know how we always say that one thing about corrupt politicians.
Yeah.
Yes, no, when you say like speak about corrupt politicians, right? Or tenderpreneurs, you're getting a tender for 80 million rand.
Hmm.
You're in your head, you think, let me charge 78 million and only use two. Does it make sense?
Does it? Not at all.
So I feel like it's the same thing with Sipho Makhabane or the entire record label. They could have been like, okay, we're not gonna give it the entire 16 million. Let's just take four for ourselves and give her 12,
Yeah, and you
you
know what
know?
the crazy
But
thing
for you to
is?
just withhold the entire thing, because you can't tell me that we gave her 250K. Nah, dog,
No.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you know what the crazy thing is that what was due to what was given to um Sipho Makhabane's record label, because Rani, there's all the publishing and the distribution and all of these things, where some of the money has actually been spread around with all these entities that are involved. What they actually got was 32 million, I think. But what was due to Nomcebo Mhlaba was half of that, basically the 16 million. So basically they
So
could
she
have
said, I'm taking everything.
everything, everything.
Wow.
So imagine,
That is a greed they were speaking about in the Bible.
yeah, yeah, like
Because what?
because it's like it's
That's
unbelievable.
evil. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
that's evil.
yeah, truly, it truly is. So yeah, and I don't know how far they went with that fight, but yeah, that was the case. And upon further reading, before I actually move on to somebody else, upon further reading, I found out I also learned that at the time I think she had released like 90 songs during her entire career. And of those 90 songs, I think it was only 24 of them that were generating royalties, because I suppose those were the ones that were released as singles and being played on radio and all these
Yeah.
other places. Now, that those 24 songs and royalties, they were actually generating like 16.3, 16.6% or 16.7% for her,
Mhm.
which is also another issue that also needed to be looked into. Because
Yeah.
when and this is something also that is very prevalent, especially in the with gospel artists, because with gospel artists, especially gospel artists like Nomcebo Mhlaba, who do not necessarily write most of their music, but they rework older hymns and older songs, and redo them. So because
Yeah.
those songs, and this actually, because it actually helped me out, because I think we did have that question about how that works when when
Yeah.
gospel artists redo the same songs over and over again, especially older ones. So what these companies, Bolo, SAMRO, what they do was responsible for collecting the royalties and paying out to the artists, is that on there, there is, like on the spreadsheet, there's a name that consistently shows up, which is PD, and this is for it appears in most gospel artists and other artists split sheets when it comes to to the royalties. And apparently it's public domain. Yes, I think it's public domain. I forget how it what it is
Okay.
in yeah in uh what's the language? I forget the language. Yeah, but it's public domain songs. So and apparently even that because the SAMRO apparently takes like 83.3%, and it goes to the public domain thing, which is also extremely high.
But who is a part of this public domain?
So the public domain is that, if I remember it correctly, so it is song. Okay, so it's any song, any piece of music that was created by an artist that died more than 50 years ago, or that died, yeah, from 50 years and longer. Then their music
Mhm.
basically goes into the public domain to be used by pretty much anyone without having to seek permission from whoever owns the music at the time to be able to reuse it, right? So with that, because you don't have to ask for permission, I think it's only like 10% that is supposed to go to whoever owns the rights at the time. But instead, with South African artists, well, especially because I was reading this, they were writing it about SAMRO. SAMRO actually takes 83.3%, and this is mainly with Black artists. Because the article that I read, this is prevalent with artists in gospel, Maskandi, Statamia, what else? I think
Mhm.
they included two other genres, but these are genres that are made predominantly by Black people in South Africa. So yeah, it's a huge chunk of money. And when they compared it to other artists like white artists, they learned, especially international ones, they learned that anyone that is remaking music that's in the public domain, um, SAMRO or whoever takes royalties only takes 10%, and then they keep it so that if anyone who actually they find out who actually owns the music, or has owned the rights to the music or has written the music, whoever, if it's in the estate comes forward, then that money is paid out to them. If not, I think there's a separate bank account where the money is thrown
Yeah,
into, yeah, to generate interest as well.
that's what I wanted to find out. Because I'm thinking, what if nobody ever comes to claim a song
Yeah.
from like maybe the maybe their great grandmother or whatever made a song and that's still being used. Remember how I was referencing like what you call Amahubes Xhosa and the
Yes.
Filatasiyoni because they've turned them into songs.
Yeah.
Now, what if there's an owner of that song and generations back and no one knows Uguti Ukoko did this? So where does that then money go?
Yeah, so that money goes into a separate bank account, which is able to generate interest. But they also found out, good say, what is actually happening is that there's a lot of corruption that is happening within the organizations,
Yeah, I was about
where
to go there.
yeah, there's a lot of
But I
corruption
know
that
it's
go.
that money is not just chilling in there.
Yeah, it's
It's not
not.
just chilling.
It's not. And this also leads us to the next guy that I want us to talk about. His name is Sakhile Moleshe. I don't know if I'm saying the surname correctly,
Mhm.
but he was part of Goldfish. I don't know if you remember the band,
Yep,
Goldfish.
I do.
Yeah, so he was part of Goldfish. Now, Goldfish, I think it was made up of two lead singers, but he was part of the band and whatnot. And he co-wrote some of the songs, I think around 2000, from 2010 or something. So he was at UCT. He studied music. And apparently he started trying to apply at SAMRO since 2004,
Mhm.
and it was, but he wasn't able to register and whatnot. I don't know what was going on there. That he's not even able to explain what was going on there because he couldn't understand it. And apparently that's also applied that a lot of artists are facing when it comes to applying to these organizations, where they're gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again, like in the application stage, where the applications are just not able to go through. And yet it's supposed to be
Mm.
a very simple process where you just take in the form, you fill it in, submit it, they put you on the system, and that should be it. But he was not able to do it. It was only able, so he co-wrote some of the Goldfish songs from 2009, and still he was trying to apply, and it just wouldn't go through. And he's been trying up until 2019, sorry, up until 2019, where he met. Funny enough, it was, and I actually realized it recently. That's in Docs Mikogo, who is part of 1020 Cartel. She was the CEO of SAMRO at the time, and they just had a chance meeting, and
Oh,
Sakhile was able to tell her with what was going on, and and she got on it. She went through whatever she did, whatever it is that she could do as CEO, and she was able to get him
mm,
registered, and it was done. And now, when they were looking into it, because the same lawyer that was representing Hlengiwe Mhlaba in her case was also assisting Sakhile. So what they found out, what the lawyer found out was that an IPN, which is an international performer number, was actually registered for quite some time. And they found out Kuti, royalties were being paid to Sakhile's IPN number in over 20 countries. Yet he knew absolutely nothing about it. And so someone was profiting from his work, and he knew nothing about it. And all this time, and it's not like he was ignorant to applying to SAMRO, or doing any of these things. Like during this entire period, he was trying
oh,
to apply so that he can be able to get paid his royalties. So when eventually Afton Docs assisted him and he was able to get into the system, there were also some complications because there was a bit of money that was paid to him in a lump sum, but there was also other money that was supposed to come to him. And then there were snags where apparently the money that was given to him, it wasn't supposed to get all of it, and it was supposed to pay it back to SAMRO. So what they did was all the other royalties that he was supposed to get back, they would take away a bit of
mm.
that money to be able to pay those royalties, which were actually due to him. But I don't know what happened, and they're supposed to take away those. It's just a very, very complicated thing. Like it's crazy. Like people like
That is crazy.
and you imagine how big Goldfish was, and he
That's the
co-wrote some
thing.
of the music. He played the instruments in some of that music, and he got pretty much nothing for it.
And what sucks is what, you know how you always talk about how most artists are ignorant or they just don't care about that side of like
The business
of the
side
game,
of
like the
things,
music
yeah,
business side of things. He was locked in, he was trying. He was
yeah.
intentional about everything he did what he was supposed to do. The industry is wild, man. Oh, it's wild.
Like it's wild. It's really, really wild. And
Wild.
when I was looking into this entire thing, I learned that it's actually a lot of the major record labels that are responsible for cheating out artists from their royalties. And if you remember the Lil Wayne and Cash Money saga a couple of years ago, where which led to Lil Wayne actually leaving Cash
Mm.
Money. He was owed $51 million by Cash Money. Um, Royalties that were supposed to come to him, both Birdman and Slim, they took that money, $51 million. UMG had to step in
Even
on that
if
one.
it doesn't run, even if it doesn't run.
It's a
Oh,
lot of
guys,
money. Because imagine, Pella, in 51 million
even if it
rands,
doesn't run, guys. Oh.
$51 million today is close to a billion rands. He didn't get that money. That is money that was stolen
Wow.
from him. So with that one,
Sick.
UMG eventually stepped in.
I'm sick.
Uh, yeah, UMG eventually stepped in. I think they were paying that money on behalf of cash money that they paid to Wayne. But also it wasn't free money because we know that there's no such thing as a free ride. So he was able to release the
Yeah.
Carter Five under cash money, and which released him from the label. And I guess everything else after that, basically, Wayne was under Universal, which is crazy because Cash Money also was under Universal. So it was a subsidiary of Universal Music. So it's still
Yeah.
it's just a cycle. It's a cycle of being in the of being in the same place.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah, it's a very, very vicious cycle. Because the last one, and this is one that was quite popular for a bit of a while, is then Nomcebo Zikode story with Jerusalem with Master KG. Yeah, and that
Mm.
one still right now is going to trial. Apparently, according to Nomcebo, she still
So,
hasn't received a
yeah.
single cent in royalties for that song, even today. Not a
And to
single cent.
understand how massive that
It was
song was
massive.
huge.
It was
It was
massive.
huge. Literally, even countries that you didn't know existed were jamming
We're
to
jamming
that
to
song.
it, yeah. Because I don't think the world actually has had such a big hit in a while. Because I think the biggest hit before
True.
Jerusalem was a Gangnam Style, and even that one, Gangnam Style, wasn't as big as a Jerusalem. I mean, Cristiano, I don't know if he just decided to use the
Was not
song or if he
sure.
was paid
Yeah.
to use it, but he also like created a short video of him attending a party and whatnot, and the song was in the background. Now, if Cristiano is conscious enough to use your song, and he gets paid pretty much for every post on
Mm.
Instagram, if he's conscious enough to use it on his reel, that shows just the how big the
How
song
massive
is.
it is. True.
Yeah. Dance challenges
That
all
is,
over the
that is
world
wow.
with that
Guys,
song.
that's wild. And it makes you think, oh, let's see, oh, like what's stopping the people from paying you what's due to you? If the song so big is making money, just run me my check.
Like there's nothing stopping these people
Like
from paying.
what's wrong? Like you're already getting 50 million, let's just say, for example. What's wrong
Hmm.
with giving me 20 million?
Like there's nothing wrong. But I like from what I'm seeing, especially with SAMRO's involvement, is that it's not necessarily the entire organization that is involved with this thing. It's obviously the people in particular positions. And whenever this thing is going to come around and be talked about, obviously the organization is going to step in
Hmm.
and defend the organization itself. And if they have to discipline someone, they're gonna discipline them after defending the entire organization publicly. It's going to be quiet how they discipline the person that took the money. But um, from what I'm able to see is that it's not necessarily organization policy. If it
Hmm.
is, then it's one of those unwritten policies. Could say this is how we do it. This is how we make the money. This is how we pay some of the bills, and how we go to the board and say and show them that we're profitable in the past financial year, which is still,
Uh,
yeah, there's no
wow.
excuse to it. Nothing, and
That's
I'm
not
not saying this as to excuse this whole thing, but it's just an evil thing because there's a lot of money in music, like a lot
that's
of
the
it.
thing. There's a lot of money. You can't be that greedy. That's my chat
Yeah,
all the time. Like you can literally pay someone what's due to them. They're working
yeah,
so hard for this. This is their bread and butter.
yeah,
And
and
you basically have a cola and it makes sense.
yeah, and this actually reminds me of someone that I know personally who he studied sound engineering, and he created a jingle for Standard Bank,
Mm.
and this jingle was I think this might be the same jingle that they're using now, if they haven't changed it. But for some years, for I think for a good 10, 15 years, Standard Bank has been using this jingle, and he went to SAMRO at some point because he's been also similar to Sakhile. He's been trying to get the royalties for this jingle and whatnot, and he just wasn't winning. Like at some point, he made some progress, and the lady that was assisting him basically hinted like to tell him, it's hey, daughter, I tried to push this thing for you, and the wall that I hit, if I pursue it any further, I'm gonna get
Actually,
kicked out. Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble as well. So that's basically that is me telling you, would say, this thing is much bigger than myself. Obviously, my office is responsible for assisting people like you and getting you what is due to you. But from what I'm seeing here, my guy, I can't assist any further. Like you have to find
that's
a way.
sick, man.
Yeah, you have to find a different way. And the way that he explained it is that it was so much money that anything that he would be doing today, he would be doing out of passion. Like like his kids
He
would be
wouldn't need
okay.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
like
wouldn't
his
need his job right now.
yeah, his kids would be okay. He would have built his own house. He would have, living comfortably enough. But he has nothing to show for it. And he did like a very, very short jingle, but he can't get anything from it.
You know, when they say the game is cold, like the game is freezing cold.
It's truly, truly.
So just
And
heartless.
yeah, and like after seeing this now, right? I'm going to be a lot easier on artists, especially when it comes to the finances. And it's not to say, Gucci, I'm just gonna say nothing at all, because there's artists that we see, Gucci. I mean, if you are able to,
Being reckless.
yeah, if you're
Mm.
able to bring in like 200, a quarter of a million rands, just on performances alone, every weekend, obviously, and you blow all that money, obviously we are going to have something to say about that. But overall, after the career is done and
Yeah.
you have nothing to show for it, that is something else. Especially when you've had hits over the years during the span of a career, and you're not able to show anything for it financially. Then I think for a lot of artists, I'm going to be a lot easier on them.
Now, actually, same because you can see that some people actually do work hard in trying to sort out their books, in
Yeah,
trying to make sure that everything is on record and they're getting paid for it. But there's still that brick wall, man. There's still that person in, or people rather, who are just pulling all the strings and making sure that people don't get what's due to them.
yeah.
And that is painful, actually. I feel like it's evil, yes, but more than anything, I feel like it's very disappointing and painful because like why would you do that to somebody else?
Yeah, like no one really deserves it, especially no one deserves it at all, actually. I mean, artists they spend hours. I mean, even though they're having fun, they're having a good time. But they spend hours and hours per every day, like trying to create music. They invest in the equipment, they invest in studio time, they invest in all these things. And when the money that they're supposed to get back from all those investments doesn't come to them, it's just someone sitting in an office and decides, Gucci, we're going to kick this person out. They're not going to get the royalties, or we're not going to tell them about such and such royalties that exist for them. That is just completely foul and evil.
And it is that's evil, for lack of a
Yeah,
better word. But
yeah,
I don't know, I just hope things change because as we said, some artists are really putting in the work, they are trying to do things the right way, but they're still not winning.
yeah,
So you can't necessarily like have a blanket statement as to why they're not winning like that financially when we can actually see with some are putting in the work. I just hope people find in their hearts to do the right thing.
yeah, yeah. But I mean,
Like honestly.
yeah, I doubt you're gonna find people are gonna change. I doubt people are gonna change, especially when they see that much money. Like I feel like there's people who get into the game with good intentions, but once they find themselves in a position where they have access to so much money, and nobody would know that they actually
Mm.
took it, or by the time they find out, it would be a very, very, very long time. I think this is something that is still going to be prevalent, but I do hope that the right people take up the right positions to fix the game.
Now I hope so too.
Yeah,
And
and
all we can give artists right now who are getting played is literally thoughts and prayers
yeah,
because they are doing what they're supposed to, you know,
yeah.
they are putting in the work, they are following the right channels, but thoughts and prayers, man.
Yeah, yeah, and also while you're on that, shout out to people like Dogs, man. Part of 1020, which also makes sense why
Yeah.
1020 runs the way that it does. Like they've got everything in order. They've got their story, they've got their yeah, they've got their house in order. So shout out to people like Dogs. And I saw Sjava this past weekend, if I'm not mistaken. They had like a
I
lot
saw it.
of
I knew. Was that? Well, I saw a lot of people there, but I couldn't see properly. I think was it the Quellas? Was it also Saudi and them?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like his
Okay.
industry, like his close industry friends and people that the artists that he's been working with recently. I think they came together and bought him a
That is
couple of cars.
such a
I think it was like two or
that is
three,
such
if I'm
a
not
perfect
mistaken.
gift. That is such a perfect gift. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I would go on. Guys, buying a pet livestock, true. Sign me up.
Yeah, and just
I
imagine,
keep your cars, dog. Give me
yeah. Yeah,
livestock.
and just
Send me
imagine
livestock, you
just
know?
imagine the people that were there. Like the picture that we saw, those were just artists, the people that we see almost every day on music videos and on social media. They've got the entire 1020 cartel team like in
Those
the
are all
back.
artists.
Yeah, though I think most of I think yeah, I think pretty much all of them were artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the
I have to go
management
through that picture
teams.
again. Zoom in and see everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, like but yeah, shout out to them, man. And even Sipho Makhabane sent a shout out to Sjava over that to thank him for everything that he does for other artists in the industry. And you know, when you are recognized by someone like Sipho Makhabane, it means that you're actually doing like great things in the industry.
Oh, that's true. Sjava is a real one, man. I've literally never heard of any artist who's worked with Sjava and
Yeah.
had anything bad to say
Yeah.
about him. Not just as a person, but even as an artist, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like also he likes seeing everyone win and he's always like singing praises of everyone around him. Like he
Yeah.
will forget that it is about Sjava. He will mention a Saudi, he will mention MT when the interview wasn't even about them, but because he recognizes the pivotal role they played in his career, in his life, he'll always be grateful and he's always going to talk about that.
Yeah.
He mentions it all the time.
Yeah, and it's probably how he pays some of his tithes by doing for others what was done for him in the industry, or giving the helping hand that he
Yeah.
was given in the industry. Because you look at the people in that picture just alone. You've got people as new as the Oilers in there, and then you've got his band members. You've got people that he started in the industry with, like Saudi, and then there's everybody else in between. Like can just imagine all the things that he's
Mhm.
done for those people. So yeah, shout out to him, man, and shout out to 1020 as well. Um,
It's amazing getting your flowers while you're still alive.
yeah, it truly is. It truly is, and hopefully it's still gonna get more. Hopefully it gets more for years to come.
Oh, definitely. I feel like you will. I feel
Yeah,
like you will.
yeah, yeah. Before we move on, is there anything else that you want to add around the royalties or anything else that you want to talk about?
I think I'm more in disbelief more than anything because
Yeah.
I think we were always so harsh to the artist, you
Mm.
know? Yes, as you said initially, with some of them are sleeping on the job at periods. But I think the more you read about it, the more you understand it, you realize it's actually some are doing their best. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, their best is just not good enough.
yeah,
And this is
because
just a hard pill to swallow for me, and I'm in the industry.
yeah, because it's a mixture. It's a mixture of people not really caring enough to, and it's the same thing that Kwesta went through around Bonota and whatnot. Like he just wasn't interested in all the admin stuff. He just trusted everyone to do their job as well as they should, which is similar to Nomcebo
Yeah.
Mhlaba. Or she wasn't interested in all the business stuff. She just trusted the people that she was with, which was at their detriment. And then you've got people who are trying, who want to know about what's going on, but they're just blocked out. They're not able to get through certain barriers, which is a shame, really. It's really it's a huge shame.
If you can call them that, because clearly they're acting like Goliath and stuff.
Yeah,
They are, they're dealt with. Like they
yeah,
they find it their hearts to do the right thing.
yeah. Yeah, but also just before I move on, just to add that the positive thing about royalties and all of that is that it's something that you can still fight and be able to get your money back eventually. Unlike when the royalties have already been dispersed.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're already within the organization, I think you can, even though it will be a headache, which is what Sakhile faced. But yeah, I think eventually we are able to get that money back. Unlike Bo Hlengiwe Mhlaba, where the money has already been dispersed. Once it's out, it's out. It's you have to try and get it back from whoever it was given to, if you can find that person in the first place.
And for a person to pay back, exactly, if you can even find that person.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, right now I want us to get into the Spotify versus Apple Music, the top 10 of the top 100. Um, I don't know if you've got that ready on your end with Spotify to see what the top 10 looks like.
And watch them disappoint me. Because one thing about them,
Yeah. All right. So I'll
they
go
will do the
first.
most.
Yeah.
They will do the most.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So, for anyone that is new to what we're doing here, we are looking at the top 10 and the top 100 charts. Yeah, looking at the charts, the singles charts. Um, so we are looking at, because I understand Spotify, it only shows you South African artists, right?
Yeah, and it's a tough 50.
It's a tough.
I'm seeing international artists as well. I'm seeing Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. I'm seeing Glenn Jones, all for you. Eh, That is wild. Why is that in the chart? I'm seeing
Well,
New Edition. Can you stand the rain? Guys, what is going on? What are people going through?
yeah, no.
There's
Yeah,
Mario with Love You. Like I'm going to, it's not the top 10, it's a top 50, but I'm just, there's Seven Campbell with Dandelion. Guys, people are going through something this week because what do you mean? Songs are in the top 50. Shut up.
Yeah.
I know I listen to all music a lot. Like the week doesn't end. I will listen to Glenn Jones like literally every week, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it's spending Mariah Carey, we
No.
belong together. I know I'm a part of that list because I listen to that. Can you stand the rain? That's me. But okay,
Yeah.
shocked. But
Yeah. But before we get into the singles chart, today I found out I got an email today, and it said that 25% of the album chart, of the global album charts, is dominated by Interscope, which is made up of Playboi Carti, Kendrick, Lady Gaga. Yeah,
yeah.
so 25% of the albums charts, it's just Interscope artists. But yeah, that because I don't think I'm able to find that on here on Apple Music, and that's on Spotify, by the way. Sorry. But yeah, just to get into the singles, there's a couple of changes from the last time. Because for be at number 10, it's Shandesh and is it Muzi or Mazel with Studla or Slend. I don't know if you know that one. It sounds like
Yeah, I
Likompo because
do. It
is it
is.
Likompo?
It's Shandesh and Mazel. Yes, it is. It
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
combo.
yeah. So for me, that's on number 10. Number 9 is Chris Brown with Residuals. Number 8 is Kendrick Lamar and SZA with Luther. Then it's followed by Kelvin Momo, Sinom Solo and Sticks with Ozwa Mushe. Followed by Babalo with Butata, Alex
Mhm.
Warren with Ordinary, Oscar Mbo and Jazz Works with Vuga. I think they moved up number 1 from the last time. And then it is
Mhm.
number 3 is Calvin Momo with Bokoko. 2 is Shali Popi with Laho, and number 1 is Zingu Malu with Tanda. And I think, yeah, Bokoko moved up. I think the last time they were number 1 on Apple Music, but today they are number 3, and Saktanda has moved up to number 1. Vuga and moved, I think it was number 5 the last time, and now they're number 4.
Mhm.
Yeah, uh, because Uyena was in the top 10 last time. Sjava's Uyen is number 20 this time, and today was the first time that I
Where is
actually
it?
heard Studla or Slend.
So I haven't listened to Studio Slend. I've just heard snippets. And
Yeah,
also because the girl is likable. Every time I see the snippets or her dancing, I watch it. She's such a
yeah.
cute girlie. Literally. Yeah, and I want to, and you know what? I love it for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's completely different from mine. So Vuga went down at number 10 by Oscar Mbo and Jazzworks. Then we have Papaman by the TNK Music, Maphorisa, Nabosian, Nabo Scott. That's number 9. Number 8, it's Menzi Wengena Luto. Number 7 is a new entry, actually was released, if not a couple of days ago, prior today, by Ulimiti. Number 6, it went up Esandleni by Nontowozo. Number 5, Umbolegeni. Number 4 is Laho by Charlie Poppy. I've never heard that song. Number 3 is Saktanda by Zingmalo. Second is Vumadlo's Lami by is it Issa Do and Ancestral Rituals. And number 1 is actually that Stula Slender song. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, because I'm
Yeah,
looking,
no, I
yeah.
don't know how I feel about all of this, but hey.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the top 20, the songs that have moved out, as Java already mentioned, Younger Chief with What If, Drake, Nokia, and
Mm.
Nodogozo, Essentially, they've all been they're all now in the top 20 and no longer at the in the top 10. But yeah, because I don't know with Studio Slender being number 1 on Spotify. I don't know if it still supports what I said last time about Spotify, because there's the free option, and yeah, there's the free option, and also
They were
the
giving
different plans.
boxes.
No, 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 not like that. I'm not saying it like that. I'm not saying it like that. But I'm talking about like Spotify having all these different plans. Because it starts from the free one,
Yeah.
there's a premium, and I think there's another one in between, if I'm not mistaken, which makes Spotify easier for to access for pretty much anyone. Because if you're not interested really in having a subscription with a DSP,
Yeah.
yeah, you're able to get Spotify and listen to it for free, even though there's ads. And there were people, I think it was yesterday or this past
Yeah.
weekend, yeah, that I saw people complaining, saying that if you are if you're gonna give you the aux cable and there's ads in between, we might as well not give it to you, or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. I'm trying not to be
No, I am
classist
very
about
heavy
it.
on.
Yeah,
Oh, I am. We see that one. I
yeah,
am. No, let's not do it, guys. If you really want to play and you trust your playlist or your music, what you call choices,
yeah,
it's fine. We'll both take our phone. Take my
yeah,
phone. It's okay. Play your music. I mean, listen, nothing irks me like an ad when I'm deep in the zone enjoying my music.
yeah. No,
Me off.
true,
It
true.
pisses me off. I can't. There's a just to no go back a bit. Was it last year sometime? I think last year, if I'm not mistaken. So at work, we have a work Spotify account, right?
Yeah,
And it's not the nicest thing. Like it's the music is very boring. The music is boring, and they just have that one hit, which is Sister Bettina in there, because they want to
yeah,
get you guys, going, you
yeah.
know. So we would switch to like our personal whatnot, use our phones or our personal accounts and whatnot. So there's a colleague of mine who was using his phone. He played two songs. And then on the third one, an ad came on, you
All
know.
right, cima,
And it
cima,
was a
cima, cima.
random, it was an event. I don't know if it was an event or just a random Thursday, but like Miss Kolingana upstairs, right?
Yeah,
The way everyone turned around and looked at him, and everyone just went, uh-uh, you work, you work,
yeah,
you work, you work. You don't care what he, everyone was just like, Chief, 70 rand. We're not
yeah,
asking you for work. Just don't buy coffee this week for 2 days. Or one day if you are like intolerant like me.
yeah,
Don't buy one day, just pay for your Spotify. Please. Literally, every single person was mad. We have never kicked someone out of Oxford like that. We're just like disconnect from the Bluetooth. Disconnect. It's a personal thing, guys. We love music. Okay. We love music. So don't ask for the aux. Don't ask to connect to the Bluetooth if you're going to be playing with ads. I'm sorry. Fight me.
yeah. No, because it's annoying. I mean, it's annoying enough being on YouTube and an ad comes on while you're watching something.
Yes.
But yeah, with music, that's a bit that's different. Very, very different. Like I'm able to tolerate an ad on YouTube better than I would be able to tolerate ads in between music.
Same.
Yeah.
Definitely same.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on. I think this will be the last talking point. Is that Kwesta might be releasing an album very, very soon. Probably later this year. I know that you are excited about
You
that
heard my
because
cry. You
yeah,
heard me. So my teeth were like, not one of my biggest supporters crying like this. I have to do
yeah.
something.
Yeah, so I saw on TikTok actually they just recently started this rollout. I know that Sony is responsible for Questa's PR around music. So I saw this rollout where he was writing a letter and reading it to his younger self, talking about his journey from back then when he was still in school, just starting the music, knowing that that kid always knew that the current Questa and that old Questa, that young Questa, they are the only ones who knew that he would get this far in the music game and achieve everything that they've achieved. So yeah, I think it's titled the Big Bro Theory. Um, I'm hoping because if the rollout is, or rather this snippet that I saw, if it is anything to go by regarding the album itself, I'm hoping that it is a visual album. And because I know that Kwesta also has taken a bit of a turn as far as his approach to music is concerned. It's not like back then where he was just making the music. Like he is more involved now in certain aspects, or rather in different aspects of his music career. So I'm hoping that it's a visual album, because that would be incredible, especially because it's also got into acting recently.
That would be very nice. He is a visual artist when you think about it, because or maybe because I listen to his music as coming from a person who's a storyteller, because I feel like he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
So when I listen to his music like that, if he does do a visual album, I see him portraying it very well.
Yeah. Yeah,
I really
but
see it popping off.
yeah, I see it as well, and it will be exciting. And also this coming from a veteran rapper, veteran Kwesta, I think the album would be exciting to listen to as well because there's not a lot of pressure for him to top the charts or to do something
Oh, yes.
incredible. This is a more relaxed Kwesta. This is a Kwesta that has nothing to prove except that I still love this thing. And yeah, I feel like it should be an exciting album. It's something that we have to be excited about, not just because it's Questa, but because it is Questa.
That is so true. That is so true. I'm looking forward to that. I really hope it's sooner rather than later because
Mm.
you can't do November. That's too far.
No,
Give
November's
us
too
something
far.
in, give us something in the winter. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
happy with that.
yeah. Because I mean, the rollout having already started, I think we might be maybe 2, 3 months away
Yeah. And
from
I'm
the
seeing
album.
him perform more actually, which hasn't been the case for the longest time.
Yeah,
Because I saw him yesterday on Big Brother. He was one of the few artists who are featured on Scooter Baba who actually pulled through, right?
mm,
I kind of expected him to pull through, but also there was that thing that hey, he might not, because Banying, and that's something I also wanted to speak about, but we'll speak about it some other time.
yeah,
But he was there. Then I also saw him on, I think it was at Human Rights Day, if I'm not mistaken. DJ Capital had like a birthday celebration, I think in Bram, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
And we were there with DJ Zandy, Your Reason, Speedstar, they were all there, even Max was there. It was hip hop. I'm
yeah.
just like, this is beautiful. I like this. And it was full. I'm just like, guys, I hope they see that we are still yearning for this hip hop thing. We love it and we're still willing to go to events for it. Because they were all there. It looked like such a good time.
Yeah.
Like
Because
he's performing this Friday also. Remember, sorry to cut you there.
yep,
Remember, I think a month ago, end of Feb, yeah. Stogie had that bar fest with Ginger, Dalongs, and 25K. I think
yeah.
McLaren was there as well. I think
Was he?
McLaren was there as well. Could be. He has another
Mm.
one this coming Friday. There's Touchline, there's K Kid, and there's Kwesta with Stogie
That's
T.
that's exciting, and it's also an
I'm just like,
untitled basement.
thoughts are being dunk.
Yeah. Yeah, is it also
Yes,
untitled? Wow. Okay. I have a feeling that it might be a series of events that
yeah,
Stogie is
it's
doing.
giving that.
Yes. So that's exciting. It's something to be excited about.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thoughts are being dunk. I'm just like, I haven't seen Kwesta perform in the longest time.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to see Kate perform,
Perform. Yeah.
especially after his recent album drop. Bite the Bullet, I really like to see him perform. And I
Yeah.
mean, Touchline, I'd always see
Obviously.
Touchline perform. Uh,
Obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't seen Story perform in a while as well, actually, thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, thought of being thank, I'll come
Yeah.
back with the review next week. I'll tell
All
you if I
right.
went or not.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you go. I really hope
I'm
that
really
you
thinking
go.
about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And before we close off, just one thing. This past weekend was supposed to be Ginger's Gonja, what does it call it? His show? The
Who I lost today.
No, I was saying that this past weekend.
My network is tripping.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
I was saying that this past weekend was supposed to be Ginger's show in Bram, but that was postponed to May, the
Yeah.
16th of May. Yeah, so that also gives me a bit of leeway um, to attend. So that's also something exciting to look forward to. And apparently the 17th is his birthday. So I don't know what he has planned. And according to Stay Low, initially they wanted the 16th, the day before his
Is the
birthday.
concert on the 16th and 17th? Give me a sec, wait.
It said it's on the
On the
6th,
thing.
on the 16th.
Unless I'm crazy. It's
Um,
not on Friday. The 16th is a Friday.
is it? Uh,
Mm-mm.
no, it's on the 17th. Sorry. It's my bad. His birthday is on the 18th. Yeah. Yeah.
That's 17th, huh? On
Uh,
the 18th, yeah.
yeah. His birthday is on the 18th, so the concert is happening on the 17th, 17th of May. So yeah, that's also something to be excited about. Apparently, stay according to Stay Low, they initially wanted the 17th, but it was booked, I think, which is why they opted for this past weekend, and then the 17th eventually opened up, and that's the reason for them to move it.
And he must have a young something on his birthday. It's only 2 days that weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
Because one thing about us will definitely go. But it must be day vibes, but
yeah,
done.
yeah,
So perform, concert ends, you go home, meet up again, midday vibes,
yeah,
drinks, we're looking cute, we're playing along with you, having a good time. Midday, six latest, everyone is going home. It's a
yeah.
Sunday, it's but
Yeah, because I actually
no, but
asked him about
like,
it.
and a lot of us are actually pressurizing him to do something on the 18th. So he might
Yeah.
actually do
No,
something.
yeah, he should. He should. Something with a bit of grass somewhere and some nice
Yes.
chairs, like just be chilled.
Mhm.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
We'll put the pressure, don't worry. Every time we
Yeah.
see him, we'll be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, come."
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that is all that I have for today. I don't know if you have anything else, see?
No, that's all that I had. Okay, no, one last thing.
Yeah.
Quick one, right? You know, I said we're gonna touch on it some other time, but might as well. Remember how I mentioned Kwesta earlier with regards to him performing for Big Brother yesterday, right?
Mm.
I just want to understand when an artist is booked, nah, and
Yeah.
they don't necessarily dictate the song that you're going to perform, right?
Yeah.
So if they book you and on the song that you choose to perform, you have eight other artists. When you call them up, how does that work? Do they come because they just want to and they feel you and they support you as an artist? Or, or are they looking to get their check?
Uh, I think it differs. I think it differs. It also differs, I think, also on um, it differs depends on the event itself.
Hmm.
It depends also on the relationship that you have with that particular artist. Because I know that if Ginger is performing somewhere, and Touchline has nothing on that day, and Ginger says, dude, can you come through? They probably might work something out regarding maybe the transportation and accommodation and all of that. But as far as the performance itself is concerned, I think Touch might actually get on stage for free. Doesn't have to be paid for that. But
I
if
guess Java
it's
and Big Zoom sort of like.
yeah, yeah, just similar to that. Would say not.
Mhm.
I've got this. You're free. Let's just go and do it. But I think it depends on that. Depends on the relationship. It also depends on the stage. Because I mean, I imagine that if it's Big Brother, for instance, like Kwesta was booked on to perform on Big Brother. If a stage like that, which is huge, like millions of viewers,
Mhm.
not just in South Africa, but like in the entire continent. I imagine anyone who is smart enough would say, "You don't have to pay me. I'm just gonna be there. I'm gonna appear," because eventually you're gonna get a couple of new fans probably. But yeah, I think it just depends on the relationship and the stage as well.
Yeah. Because I had that question yesterday because that stage was overwhelming me, Gesek High. The amount of dancers on the stage was insane.
Yeah.
It's probably over 20 dancers. I'm like, there's no need to have so many dancers for Skutabab. There's no need to have so many dancers for Scott Mapuma. there's really no need, but there were a lot. And I understand these are kids who are trying to get their pay, this is their career, right?
Mm.
So my question was, do they also get paid separately as dancers, or if you, like they're booking you, they're including them in your fee? So I just had those questions yesterday because
Oh,
also when I
oh,
was asking
you're asking
about
about the dancers.
everyone at this point,
Oh,
because even
okay.
the features that Scooter Baba has a lot of people, but only I think four came through. Kane Kid was there.
Yeah,
Forgot the girl's name. Oh man, it was on my tongue. I forgot it now. Kwesta was there and Tony was there,
yeah,
right? Casper wasn't. I don't remember who else. So I was asking, so they book you as the artist
yeah.
and your song has eight other people. How do you then handle? That's what I was trying to understand. Did he pay
Okay.
Ken Kid, or Kid was like, no, I'm just gonna come perform because people don't know me like that yet, and
Mm.
they might like me after they see me, or do you pay everyone? Request is like, look, I charge 40K for performance, for example, run me my check. So
Yeah.
those are questions that I had. Then also I had that one of the dancers. Are they also paid separately or does it come from your check as
With dancers are definitely, I think, paid, depending on who brought them. But I think because I'm considering that because you mentioned that there was a lot of them on the stage. I'm assuming that it was Big Brother that brought them on, so they might have been
yeah.
paid by them. And then with the artists, I think yeah. So it just depends on who was booked and how they are able to negotiate. But then also I was thinking that if Big Brother had requested for them to perform Scooter Bab, they're actually basically booking the song. Um, I think in that case they should be paying everyone that is on the song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which makes sense.
yeah. For at least for me, logically, that's how it makes sense.
Yeah, because for me, I think if it's a non-payment issue or just exposure, which doesn't pay bills really,
Yeah,
first would be like, ah, I'm full because I don't need the exposure.
yeah,
Tony would be like, I also don't need it, but maybe I do.
yeah.
While Ken Kid on the other side would be like, right
Yeah,
now, I
definitely. Yeah,
you
yeah.
understand. So it's
Yeah.
very, I get what you're saying though.
Yeah. Yeah, but I imagine that for Kwesta, even though he does not need it, but he might have
He
taken
just
it
loves it.
yeah, he might have taken it for Kane Keat, Tony Daimani and yeah, and everybody else. And that's in a case where there's no payment at all. It is just he might have taken it for them just for them to be there and for people to take notice.
That's true. I really believe that. But
You know.
that's just one thing I was thinking about yesterday because it's
Yeah.
really interesting. I was like, hey, this is intriguing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you've got nothing else, if you've got nothing else, I don't have anything either.
And I'm good as well.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for staying with us. If you haven't subscribed as yet, please make sure that you do. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. Do everything else in between. Share it with your friends, family, and everybody else that you can get this to. But for us, the oracles. Myself, Manelisi, and the incredible, the beautiful superstar Zima Zibuko. We'll see you again next week.
Um,
Have a good one. Cheers.
bye.